Alrighty, hello, I'm Beth the Builder, and I'm on the floor in my kitchen. So this is obviously not a door. So there were doors here, and when we first moved in, I had this crazy idea that I was going to strip the paint on our cabinets because they seem old, and you know, then you get rid of all these layers of paint. I quickly abandoned that idea because I was like, what am I thinking? There's like 17 layers of paint on this shit. So abandoned that. These doors sat in my garage for a while, and then I just threw them in the trash because I was like, I don't care about these. And we put a curtain up, and that was fine. It worked. That's not a weird thing. It's kind of hippie, rustic, whatever, curtain. It's burlap, very rustic. But I had the idea of making doors because I've made several doors for my kitchen. This door right here, I've made an actual door, you know, for our downstairs bathroom. I think the most difficult thing is literally like measuring hinges and getting that to like line up right, open nicely, stay open. Be level. That's probably the most difficult thing. Building a basic door is really, really simple. You need like a piece of wood and then like trim for the edge. Like you don't even have to get that fancy. You could just use like a piece of plywood. But if you want it to like kind of look like something, so it's not rocket science. And I have all these pallets. I have free pallets I can just get a hold of. And the only thing I got hung up on was the hinges. I didn't want to have to go buy hinges because the ones I have in my kitchen are kind of expensive. So I scavenged them, did a janky thing. We're not going to talk about it. It's fine. But they should work for here. So my pallets, I'm going to break them all down, and I'm going to do like cross pieces horizontally and then a frame of pallet wood. So it should be really cool. Should turn out pretty nicely. I have like a really good idea in my head, and that's something that I've gotten better at is formulating a plan and measuring everything and like drawing something out and then like executing it. So that just comes with experience that people who've been doing this for decades are obviously going to be way better than me. But if you have a little bit of a head for that stuff and you can sketch out and take some measurements, that is going to go a long way. So don't be intimidated. And sometimes you got to go with like, you know, I've done plenty of things where I've just like dived in and then dove. I've just doved in. No, that's not a word. Whatever. Anyway, I've just done it and then been like, that could have gone better. So now I have more and more things that like I have a plan, sketch it out, take the measurements, think about it, and then it goes actually really smoothly. So I've actually done all of this editing, you know, camera tricks, here we go. And it took me like, I don't know, 2 hours probably. Like the thing obviously I had to wait for was my stain to dry. It's not completely dry yet, but I'm jumping the gun. But breaking down my pallets, putting them together, yeah, I could have done it all in probably an afternoon, but I had to wait for my glue to dry and then my stain to dry. So those are the things that kind of like, you just have to wait. You know, you have to be patient. But it's not complicated, it's not hard. And boy howdy, oh my God, if you're gonna get a saw, I know a circle saw is mobile. You can travel with it, you can bring it places, you can bring it outside and stuff like that. But like my miter saw is so severely upping my game that like I can't even believe it. Like now I'm like, I can't believe I went so long without it. Like what was I thinking? But it's expensive and they're big. You know, it's like got a giant 10.5-inch blade on it. That's a little intimidating. Anyway, it's the thing to have, okay? Like, seriously. So, now watch me build this so then I can hang it right now. We're gonna do it. Yay! So my doors are all hung, got knobs. They're pretty dang level for what I'm working with. So if you have an old house, you will eventually, if not right away, run into things aren't square, okay? Like either because maybe they were built slightly not square, or maybe, you know, your house is 120 years old, like my house, and things have settled. So, and things are just slightly, you know, like an eighth of an inch or so, not square. So I wanted it to look level from up here. So that means also because I was dealing with pallet wood, it's not all square, it's not all perfect. I don't want it to be, okay? I want it to look rustic. So because of that, it's a little bit tighter up here than it is at the bottom, but it's pretty hard to tell, okay? Like you gotta really be scrutinizing it to like, you know, notice that kind of shit. I always notice that. And I'm sure people looking for that stuff will notice it. But just like when we were looking at houses, there's plenty of stuff that I didn't notice at all. And then moving into our house and living here, then I'm like, what the heck is up with that? Like, what's up with that? What? Like all these little things that you notice. Go to a person's house and like the stuff you'll notice will not be the same things they notice. Because I just know, you know, I like this type of stuff. I like looking at houses. I like building things, etc. I think it's interesting and fun. So that's the stuff I notice. For some other people may not give a rat's ass. Can I say ass on YouTube still? Is that a thing? Answer my question. I was gonna make my own knobs. I've done that for a different project where I use twine, and you can do a cool thing. It's called like the monkey's fist knot to look really cool, kind of nautical-esque, but mostly just like rustic. But these match all the ones in my kitchen, so I stole these off of a different door and I'll do something else for those, or I'll get more of these. It doesn't matter. I'm sure I can scavenge up some knobs. So, 2 things to be aware of when you're building a door, especially 2 like this. You may want to make sure that you leave room so that they're not so tight that they can't open. It's a funny thing that you may not think about if you're a beginner or whatever, but you have to leave room so that they're not so tight that they get stuck in the middle. You want to leave a little bit of a gap. And the same with the edges. You want to make sure you're figuring out what hinges you're going to use before you build them. I had to add something to my doors I'll show you guys, because of the hinges I had. I was thinking they would be exactly like the hinges I've used in the past with doors that are, I mean, they're honestly much simpler, easier hinges to work with, but there's tons of different hinges out there which you don't even think about, first of all. And second of all, it's important to know what kind you're to be using before you build a thing. So I knew the kind I wanted, and then because I didn't want to spend $10 on hinges, I had to tweak slightly, which wasn't a big deal. It took me 2 minutes to cut the little pieces of wood to add what I needed for these. But those are my 2 things to be aware of. Hinges, gap. If you want to support me, check out links below in the description as well as like right here. So I am a Cutzel affiliate, so if you buy bits, you can get a discount by clicking on this link and putting in a code for Beth the Builder. So that's pretty cool, and then I get a commission, percentage, whatever. You can also check my Patreon. I'm gonna keep putting new stuff up there and using it as like uncensored Beth, because I have to be slightly more censored for YouTube. So check that out, as well as my Etsy store. Because I've broken down all these pallets, I have lots of wood now, and I'm going to be wood burning some cool things and trying to stock up on things. So check out all of those things. Otherwise, just keep liking and watching and subscribing, because that means literally everything to YouTube, and it means a lot to me. So I do really appreciate all that, and you know, I'll keep crafting, building, etc. I got some garden-y projects I'm gonna work on pretty soon. Starting plants inside, seedlings, all the things. So I will see you guys next week, and thanks for watching.